15 million copies sold, thousands of summaries on YouTube, and almost all of them miss the point. They give you the 4 laws, the 2-minute rule, the habit stacking trick, and they send you on your way. That's not what we're doing here. I'm not going to give you another 5 key takeaways video. I'm going to tell you the one idea in this book that actually changes lives, what James Clear gets right, what he oversimplifies, and the persuasion techniques he uses on you while you're reading. Because here's the thing nobody talks about. This book doesn't just teach you about habits, it uses habit science on you. And once you see how, you'll never read a self-help book the same way again. So let's take it apart. If you only read 10 pages of Atomic Habits, read Chapter 2. This is the chapter most people skim past because they want the tactics. They want the how. But Chapter 2 is the why, and without it, every tactic in this book falls apart. Clear's real insight isn't the 4 laws, it's this. There are 3 layers to behavior change. The outer layer is outcomes. What you get. The middle layer is processes. What you do. The inner layer is identity. What you believe. Most people start from the outside. Clear says, start from the center. Don't say, I want to lose weight. Say, I'm the type of person who never misses a workout. Don't say, I want to read more. Say, I'm a reader. Not, I want to quit smoking. But, I'm not a smoker. The shift sounds small. It's actually everything. Here's the line that makes the whole book click. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. No single workout transforms your body. No single page makes you wise. But 1,000 votes in the same direction? That rewrites who you are. The habits are the votes. The identity is the goal. The 4 laws that everyone talks about? Those are the mechanics. They're the toolkit. They're useful, but identity is the engine. Without Chapter 2, the 4 laws are just productivity tricks. With it, they're a system for becoming a different person. And that's what most summaries completely miss. All right? The 4 laws. I'm going to move fast here because these are the mechanics, not the breakthrough. But they're genuinely useful mechanics, so let's cover them properly. Law 1. Make it obvious. The idea is simple. If you don't decide when and where a habit happens, it won't happen. I'll work out more is a wish. After I pour my coffee, I'll do 10 push-ups in the kitchen is an instruction. Clear calls this an implementation intention, and the research backs it up hard. The second piece of Law 1 is environment design. Put the book on your pillow. Put the fruit on the counter. Put your running shoes next to the bed. Make the cue for the good habit impossible to miss. You're not lazy. You're just in an environment designed for the wrong behavior. Law 2. Make it attractive. Your brain runs on dopamine, and dopamine isn't about reward. It's about anticipation. You get more dopamine wanting the thing than actually getting it. That's why scrolling is addictive. The next post might be amazing. Clear says, use this. Pair something you need to do with something you love to do. That's temptation bundling. The social version of this is even more powerful. We absorb the habits of our group without realizing it. Clear cites a study. If your close friend becomes obese, your chance goes up 57%. Not from shared meals, from shared norms. So the move is, join a group where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Law 3. Make it easy. This is the 2-minute rule. Whatever habit you want, scale it down until it takes 2 minutes or less. Don't commit to running 5 miles. Commit to putting on your shoes. Don't commit to reading 30 pages. Commit to reading 1 page. A habit must be established before it can be improved. The flip side is friction. Every step between you and the behavior is a point where you might quit. If the gym is 30 minutes away, you won't go. If the guitar is in the closet, you won't play. Remove every unnecessary step. That's the law of least effort. Law 4. Make it satisfying. Your brain has a present bias problem. It massively overvalues immediate rewards and treats future rewards like they barely exist. You eat healthy today. You look better in 3 months. Your brain discounts that to almost 0. So give yourself something now. Habit tracking works because the visual proof of your streak becomes its own reward. Jerry Seinfeld used a calendar and a red marker. Every day he wrote jokes. He marked an X. His only job, don't break the chain. Simple, powerful, immediate. And here's the rule that ties it all together. Never miss twice. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. You'll have bad days. That's fine. That's human. But the moment you miss, you show up the next day no matter what. That's possibly the single best rule in the entire book. Now here's where we get honest, because I want to give Clear real credit where he's earned it, and he's earned a lot. The systems over goals reframe is genuinely powerful. Winners and losers have the same goals. The difference is always the system. That insight alone is worth the book. Environment design. Clear covers this better than almost anyone in pop science. The research he cites is solid, and it's practical. Most self-help books tell you to change your mindset. Clear tells you to change your kitchen counter. That's more useful than 100 affirmations. And never miss twice. I keep coming back to this one because it solves the biggest failure mode in behavior change, the shame spiral. You miss one day, you feel guilty, you miss another day. The guilt compounds, and suddenly you've quit. Never miss twice breaks the spiral before it starts. The book is well-structured, clearly written, and full of examples that actually stick. Clear is a great communicator. There's a reason this is one of the best-selling non-fiction books of the decade, and most of that reason is deserved. But, and I say this with respect, there are gaps, not flaws that ruin the book. Gaps you should know about so you can fill them yourself. And the biggest one is emotional state. Clear makes habit formation sound almost mechanical. Cue, craving, response, reward, plug in the right inputs, get the right outputs. But real life has a variable he barely mentions. Stress, grief, depression, burnout, life upheaval. Habits. Built during calm seasons, break during storms. And Clear doesn't really tell you what to do when that happens. The 2-minute rule is brilliant for starting. But Clear glosses over the hardest part. The plateau. That stretch where the habit stops being new and starts being boring. Where you've been going to the gym for 3 months and you're not excited anymore. Starting is the easy part. The boring middle is where habits actually die. And the book barely addresses it. The 1% better math is motivating but misleading. 1% better every day, 37 times better in a year. It sounds incredible. But behavior doesn't compound like money. There are setbacks, plateaus, regressions. Growth on humans is non-linear and messy. The math is a metaphor, not a prediction. And Clear presents it as closer to a prediction. Redesign your environment is great advice if you control your environment. But not everyone does. If you share a house with people who have different habits, if you work in a place you can't redesign, if your resources are limited, environment design becomes a privilege. And the book doesn't really acknowledge that. This isn't a flaw that ruins anything. It's a gap worth being honest about. Okay, now for my favorite part. This is the part nobody ever talks about. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. James Clear doesn't just teach you about habits. He uses habit science techniques on you while you're reading. Watch for this. Every single chapter opens with a story about someone extraordinary. A gold medalist, a successful CEO, a scientist who changed the world. Then Clear pivots to you. He makes you see yourself in that person. That's the identification technique. And he does it on purpose. By the end of the anecdote, you're not reading about someone else's success. You're imagining your own. Here's another one. Notice the structure of every chapter. It's always, here's the problem. Here's the wrong approach. Here's my fix. That's the contrast principle. Show you the wrong way first so that his way feels obvious by comparison. It's the same technique salespeople use. Show you the expensive option, then the one they actually want you to buy. And this one is brilliant. Every chapter ends with a summary and a set of action steps. Those aren't just helpful recaps. Those are implementation intentions built into the book itself. Clear is using the very technique he teaches in Chapter 5 to keep you reading and acting on what you read. The entire book is one giant habit loop, and I want to be clear. This isn't a criticism. It's actually genius. Clear isn't just teaching you about habits. He's using habit science to make you keep reading. He's practicing what he preaches at the structural level of the book, and most readers never notice. Now you will. So here's the real verdict. Read this book, but read chapter 2 first and read it twice. That's the identity chapter. That's where the actual transformation lives. Most people skip it and jump straight to the tactics. Don't be most people. The 4 laws are a good toolkit, solid mechanics, worth knowing. But without the identity shift, they're just productivity hacks that expire in 3 weeks. With the identity shift, they're a system for becoming someone new. That's the difference between reading this book and using it. And now you know the persuasion tricks the book uses on you. The identification technique, the contrast principle, the built-in implementation intentions, which means you can read it with clear eyes and actually extract what matters instead of just feeling inspired. If you want to grab the book, the link is in the description. And I have a question for you. What's the one chapter in any book that actually rewired how you think? Drop it in the comments. I read all of them. Like and subscribe so you never miss the next breakdown that shows you what's really going on inside the books everyone reads. What's the one chapter in any book that actually changed how you think? Drop it in the comments. If you want to read Atomic Habits, the link is in the description. Like and subscribe.